What happens if you have no money for retirement? Well, the obvious answer, you're going to work until you die or you'll be homeless. I don't know. But that's what the video is about. How do you assure that does not occur? So the first thing I want to talk about are just the dire consequences of not having enough. And there are some better formulas to plan that a lot of you are using the old, what I call park and pray stock portfolio, bell curve, make way less as you get older. Why? You don't have to do that. The second thing I want to talk about, what are the strategies to generate more income at any age right now? And where do you put it so you actually have some compounding interest in that retirement plan? I prefer to call it a Freedom Day plan, but for most people's purposes, they don't understand that the word retirement is an agricultural word. It means to put cattle to pasture to die. You're not a cow. You're not going to die. So we call it freedom. You transition, not retire. But that's our definition. So for purposes of the video, I'm going to keep using the word retirement because y'all know what I'm talking about. Last thing I want to talk about are the absolute crucial steps for you to make sure that you employ so you don't have a financial hardship as you get older. So the first thing are the dire consequences of not having enough money. Well, first of all, who helped you reverse engineer what you think you're going to need? Because your current spending, like most people, again, like I said, love the bell curve, and they're okay just being on fixed income and Social Security income as they get older. And I would say if you lived a big life and you've had a great life, why would you have less life as you get older into your later years? And if anything, are you planning enough for any medical bills and healthcare bills, assisted living facilities, long-term care? Is any of that in your plan? So I would just look at your basic, what do you do today and how are you living? Are you a $5,000 a month expense load? Are you at $2,000? Are you at $10,000? Are you at $20,000? I have clients that spend $100,000 a month. So what do you really need, given that your kids will probably be gone? Hopefully you've already reallocated your lazy assets, but these are some really critical things. You've got to forecast the right amount that you're going to live on. And that is more challenging than you think, given the pandemic just crushed everyone's plans, right? 2020 completely create a diversion in it. And then worse, in April of 2020, the entire stock market went down over 30%. 2 years later, went down to 28%. So those people who are with the park and pray specialists, which are typical financial planners who went to school for less time than somebody did to cut your hair, which is shocking to me that you would even go to them. Because if you walked into a traditional house, I don't care which one it is, I'm not going to name names on a video, you know what I'm talking about. They'll say, yeah, we'll self-direct your money. Well, that's only into their funds, which are usually mutual funds or bonds, maybe some sort of an EFT special or something like that. But a lot of you, you're just leaving it to chance, or you're making spending most of your life, which is the pattern we have to break. So to break the pattern of make spend, it needs to become make invest. So one activity to make sure you're not in any dire consequences is just start playing with a compounding calculator. So whatever your number is, say you want $10,000 a month. Well, you have to reverse engineer that. How much is that you're going to be putting away? $10,000 a month passively, right, is typically at least $1 million invested. So let's just say you have $1 million invested at 12%. That's $120,000 a year. So can you sustain without withdrawal of that money a $10,000 a month income level from what you're creating? So is there enough passive income in the $1 million at 12% to get you where you want to go, to spend the way you're going to spend, also taking into account any taxes if you're still not living corporate life? It's amazing to me how so many people, as they get older, divest their corporate life, and then you don't have deductions. So then you can't even run off your phone or your vehicles anymore or have a home office. I want you to live corporate life until the day you walk off the planet. And you say, well, I don't want it to keep working. I didn't say you had to keep working. You need to live in that lifestyle, which means doing generational wealth includes your children in it. So you keep the cash and you keep the activity. It's not difficult. It's just very different to reverse engineer what you're really going to need for your retirement. But make sure you do that. And then again, play with a compounding calculator. Maybe you're okay with 8% or 10% annual returns. Maybe some of you want to get aggressive and you want 15%. Well, those are a little more challenging to find. 18s and 20s are even more challenging, but there's a lot of real estate deals. There's some gas and oil deals. There's still a lot of deals you can produce that kind of return. So just play with it. If you started putting 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 away a month, compounded it, take a simple 10, 12% interest rate over how many years, what can you get? And then actually when you pull, so just start playing with a calculator and work on what you need. Let's say you're watching this and you're 50, 60, 70, you're like, I don't want to go back and work. Well, you're going to have to come up with a lot more income streams if you are at a flat line zero. You've got to have money put away. You've got to have assets working for you, and they've got to create some passive income. Or again, is your Social Security going to make it? Is it enough for you? And if you're living in other parts of the world, that like in Canada, it's called an RSP. Are you going to have enough for those later years where you don't want to work? And then on the other side, I know a lot of people who want to keep their brain active and keep it busy. And just be efficient. So how could you just create extra income? What structure could you put in would be my question and challenge to you, where you could actually continue to do what you're doing. Teachers, be a tutor, right? I have so many police, firefighters that are clients that are doing really creative things later in their life to continue to make the income and continue to look for investments and look for better opportunities to put your money to work so you have the passive income. So if you feel like you're really at that stuck, I don't have enough to even get there, then you've got to lean in and say, how can I make more money? We do a 100K program, which guarantees $100,000 of extra income in 365 days. I'm going to put a link below in the description. You can call our office, talk to our team about that if you're one of those people and say, you know what, I need to make some extra money. I need the next 2 or 3 years making 100, 200,000 so I can put that away, compound it, and it starts working for me. A couple other strategies that I think a little more mature strategies. So for those of you who this is really new to, I would not encourage you to do it without my mentoring and guiding in our team. But you could arbitrage some good debt. If you have good credit and you could actually get some really great credit at 0%, you could arbitrage it at 12, 15%, basically printing money, but you are going to go into good debt to do that. The other way that you can do just the legacy part is if you're healthy and you can qualify for some really good health insurance, use the health insurance to fund the trust so you actually have a generational legacy that you get to pass on to the kids. Make sure it's in a trust. If not, it'll go to probate. Anywhere between 40 and 60% of your estate is going to the state that you live in or the province or wherever you live in the world. And if you have heard from an expert that's not true, again, call our office. We will absolutely blow those myths away because it is true. And you will end up in probate, which then dismantles everything that you just worked for. So life insurance, good debt is some of the strategies. As I go into a few other critical strategies to make sure that you don't end a game, retire broke. Before I go there, I want you to subscribe to my channel. I want you to click the notification button. I want you here 5 days a week. I want you listening. Anyone 5 years old and older can listen to the channel. It's family friendly, and binge watch if you want. I mean, go find some topics. We're updating our playlist. We'll be updating them consistently, but you do go through our playlist if you need to make money or keep money or understand investing education and really consume the content. At 25 hours, we're going to give you a $750 credit towards new tuition. So make sure in the description you follow the guidelines to make sure it's trackable and we know that you're being tracked. The last critical steps to avoid to make sure that you have nothing at the end is, again, you've really got to get honest with yourself. That's probably the first thing, is take an honest assessment. In my Millionaire Maker, I call it the gap analysis. So grab the Millionaire Maker book and read up to chapter 3. Where are you and what do you need? And in this frame, I want you to gap towards your retirement. So say you only want to officially work because you have a job for 3, 5, 7 more years. After that, right now, let's bring on an extra income stream, whether it's investing in real estate, investing in storage, RV parks, or you just want to do an extra side hustle. I have some folks in their 60s and 70s. I have a guy who's an amazing welder. He's actually starting doing a whole metal art business for additional income in his later years. His transition role will be out of a job, right, a corporate job, into being a welder, into being a metal artist. And actually, you can distribute so many places. It's such a lucrative industry that space is. So think about what are some of your hobbies. You move into a business and you actually formalize the corporate structure. I cannot tell you one of the most critical steps is to live through corporate structure till the day you leave the planet. Like, yes, from the minute you're 18 to the day you leave, your kids take it over, generational wealth happens, and your strategy is going to exist. And again, back to the two, what I call the Band-Aid points at the end of your life. If you don't have enough money put away, is look at life insurance as an alternative and look at some good debt arbitrage. You're going to enjoy that. If you have any questions at any time, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL, ask questions, make requests. We're here 5 days a week. We'll be back tomorrow.